Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we're back with another episode of Classic Cinematics. I'm joined as always my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo.
Folks. And today we got another classic, and this is going to be kind of on the, I don't know, I guess some people would call this a horror comedy, but for me it's more like a thriller comedy with a little bit of horror elements. I mean, I think we spoke on this before, especially when we were talking about Leprechaun a few episodes ago, and whereas horror doesn't necessarily have to mean just scary or
monsters
or gory. I think it's more to describe a certain type of subject matter.
Or it can instill fear or put you in fearful situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Look at that, keeping it elaborate for you guys today.
Yeah, so this one is a classic from 1992, man. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis, so we're going to be talking about Death Becomes Her. And this is even listed as a fantasy comedy, not even horror, but I think there's definitely some horror elements. This gives me Sam Raimi vibes.
Definitely, dude. All day long.
So in this story, a novelist loses her man to a movie star and former friend. She winds up in a psychiatric hospital. Years later, she returns home to confront the now married couple looking radiant. Her ex-husband's new wife wants to know her secret and discovers that she has been taking a mysterious drug which grants eternal life to the person who drinks it. The actress follows suit but discovers that immortality has a price. And this film stars Meryl Streep as Madeline Ashton and Goldie Hawn as Helen Sharp. We also get Bruce Willis as Ernest. Isabella Rossellini, she plays the person with the potions. We also get Mary Ellen Trainor in this, Nancy Fish, Ian Ogilvy, Michelle Johnson, William Frank Father, Elena Reed. He's the father of the Franks.
Right?
Yo, Fabio even has a little cameo in here. Deborah Jo Rupp. That's 70s show mom, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so. She plays a psychiatric patient in this. I'm trying to look for names I recognize. Jonathan Silverman, he was a guy, that was popping at that time. Michael Caine. Yeah.
There you go.
Where was he at?
I have no idea. I think they bluffing us, dog. I don't remember seeing him. I would have seen him. And then
he must have did something or played a smaller role in this or something real quick.
Maybe he held the camera for a couple minutes.
But yeah, dude, this is a great film for me, man. It's something that I really enjoyed. I remember seeing this when it came out on VHS. It was something my mom rented, and I remember watching it and having a good time with it, man, because it feels like a something that might have came out of Tales from the Crypt era or something like that,
Dude, I'm glad you said. I'm like, man, you read my little fuck on the bathroom, bro. I'm just messing, dude. But I'm with you 100%. It plays exactly like a Tales from the Crypt episode, except it's more layered, more detailed. You know what I'm saying? It gives us that little bit of extra link because it's not snubbed out by a half an hour timestamp. But yeah, man, dude, with this story, dog, I love this inventive, creative approach to, the immortality aspect with like the Frankenstein vibe. You know what I mean? And they do this just so well. And like we spoke on in your introduction, they might not call this a horror film, but it does have this horror element, but it's just so lighthearted that makes this story so fun.
So Madeline, gets a card from someone. She
has a book signing. And see, Helen, because she's so spite-driven, she waits 8 years to, get herself back together. We don't know that she took this potion 8 years ago up at this point, but she let some time build, and now she's successful. She's feeling good, looking good, feeling extravagant, and now this is her attempt to smear poo in Madeline's face and one up her now. You know what I'm saying? So she sends out
she's trying to get her man to
Madeline and her ex-husband. And it's like, come check out my book signing. So they're actually going. Madeline is dragging her husband to this thing. He just wants to go to see Helen because he knows he did wrong in the first place. Madeline is going because she thinks that she still looks the same as
she's
when she
last down bad when she goes.
So she can still one up her. And then when she sees Goldie Hawn just looking just in better shape than Madeline is in, Madeline's like, I need to know the secret. This is not Planet Fitness. There's something else going on. And instantly, goes to, what was it, like a plastic surgeon or something like that. That's how she got Bruce Willis in the first place, because he was a plastic surgeon. That's how Madeline got him. But now at this point, she's going to some other kind of clinic, I guess beauty enhancement clinic. Yeah. and this guy, like, soon as she says the magic word, tell me what I need to do, money is not an option. And then this guy just
it's like the extra tier.
Yeah.
Like you got the basic membership, but then there's items that are not on the menu.
Yes, exactly. You want the stuff that we make in the back room. You don't want this stuff that's made on the line.
You unlock the bonus features.
Okay. And then this guy comes, he's like, yeah, did I hear you say that money's not an option? Here, let me hook you up with my folks. And then we end up meeting, what was the girl's name? In this, I want to say her name was Leslie Vaughn. Leslie Vaughn Roman. This chick never wore a shirt in this movie. She just wore a bunch of jewels.
I appreciate it. Isabella Rossellini's portrayal. Like that's where the horror comes in, because that scene after she talks to, and they send her to the next level, going up there, like there's a car ride in the rain, and it's like, where am I going? And it's dark. That's where the horror elements come in. Dude, and then you're going up into this big mansion, like the mysterious, and then you get in there, and it's on some like diabolical, like Dracula kind of like.
Dude, she kind of like comes off like it's like another version of like the Queen of the Damned. Like you would think she's a vampire, and of course, with immortality being something that vampires do have in their lineage. I mean, it's kind of like, just because she ain't sucking your blood or nothing, it's still, it kind of hits on those notes. And like you said, it is creepy. Yeah. And then it's also like, in another aspect, it kind of reminds me of like those cartoons where like, do right or do wrong. And then the little devil pops up and he's like, well, you sell your soul for this bag of peanuts. And then you got to sign your name on the line. And she has that pretty much ultimatum given to her without reading the fine print, without the details. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the chick even she plucks her finger with the potion on it, so the Madeline can see that what the effects are. And then she's like, yeah, go ahead and drink it. You know what I mean? She drinks it and she's like, oh yeah, by the way, let me tell you about the rules. Why would you give me the rules before I drunk this shit?
Well, see, I still don't think she gave him the rules properly, because all right, so we got this potion that keeps you, basically, whenever you take it, you're going to stay like that. How you're going to stay looking like that and youthful. You're going to stay the best version of that at that age. If you take it at 40, you're going to be the best of 40-year-old you could be. Yes. But also, essentially, you're kind of dead too. So if something does happen to you, you're not going to regenerate. Like if you break a limb, you can set it and reuse it, but you're going to still have that bruise where the break happened. So that's the warning. She says take care of yourself, but she doesn't get specific, and I think she should have. She'd be like, yeah, if you do this, this is going to happen. So then maybe that would have influence them to really take better care of themselves.
Like, just because you're immortal, don't die on purpose, because then ultimately, what's the first thing that happens to someone when their body dies? Rigor mortis sets in, and then your skin turns flush.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you
get pale. You get pale. Yeah, because that is it. Like, she does end up dying.
And that's the thing where, like, getting into these characters, it's really cool that they each play such a significant role in this.
But once it gets going, then I think it's fine. But there are some moments where you could have trimmed, some stuff out.
But what makes this film stand out more than anything we've talked about was the special effects. This film was so visually and aesthetically pleasing with what they brought to the stage for this film at the time when it came out. In 1992, when this came out, we didn't see things done this way. This was the first film that actually used photorealistic human skin software. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what part of CGs that falls under.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
that
92.
Technical.
Yeah. We're in the early stages of CGI enhanced filmmaking. Special effects as well.
Looked real. Like, I mean, when her neck was twisted, it didn't look all like fake.
I remember seeing that. Like, if you go online, look up the making of or how these things were done in that, and I remember them showing that kind of stuff, like you said, in the blue screen. So this is way before Jurassic Park hit, with the effects. But this was also a film that was in the beginning stages of that, because of this. Maybe later on, the T-Rex can run,
right? Or metal can melt with T2 and all these things. But this one, I feel like it was, it was a tone setter. It was very prolific.
The crazy thing is, Terminator 2 was out in 91. So I think they were probably using some of those techniques, not so intensely, but it was there. You could definitely see it, man.
And and the thing is that this film, justifiably so, it won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects in 1992, beating out Alien 3 and beating out Batman Returns. But then you know what? This is a testament to Zemeckis and his keen eye.
So I fall down the stairs.
Because this was actually the third film that he gave us, the second of the 3, where he won an Oscar for Best Visuals. The other 2 was 1998's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and then in what was it? 94. He gave us Forrest Gump. So this is something that he does. Like his eye for direction and the way that he delivers it to us is just, I mean, it's great. You know what I mean? And this film, I mean, it's at the forefront. The like I said, the effects are the one thing. When we first talked about bringing this film up last week, the first thing we started talking, we didn't talk about the story of the characters. Like, bro, remember when she got her head twisted and homegirl was walking around with the shotgun, stop sign size hole in her torso? I mean, this is what makes this movie kind of separate itself from the other elements and the other films that came out in its time because of these effects. That's what really enhances and drives this story through the floor.
It would be kind of basic without it. I mean, the premise and the story, I don't think it's that deep at all. But doing all this extra stuff, having this cast, having these actors, and the effects make it something special that rises above the pack.
With these effects, you also get this great camera work, the angles, the way the camera rotates around them and just moves around them. It's like you feel like you're in this mansion with them watching this stuff happen. Good thing you're not, because you probably would have ended up getting thrown down the steps and hit with a shovel too.
It's definitely it's entertaining, man.
Critics are probably underwhelmed because, like you said, the first thing we talk about is that this hits like a Tales from the Crypt episode, which I'm sure your Siskel and Eberts and those out there in the world were probably like, man, they could have just had this on Tales from the Crypt. And I want to say at the time that this came out, Zemeckis was one of the producers of the show at the time, so he kind of had his leg in on that element as well. But as far as the success rate, bro, this film, the budget was $55 million, and worldwide it grossed box office $149 million.
That's still high though. For that time, I think that a lot of that probably went to actor salaries though, but not too much. I mean, what are we getting Bruce and them, man? Maybe like $4 or $5 million out of Pablo, or that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, so I guess maybe that's going into the effects and the editing.
Yeah, but I mean, they still tripled up. You know what I'm saying? Or doubled up. So I mean, that's a win. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, with Zemeckis, with this camera work and the way he directed it, and it's just acted so great. And then it's really all brought full circle with this really cool score. There's no songs. This is straight orchestra score, which
it gives it a definitely a great feel to it. With that, that kind of score, I think sometimes is way better than what you can do with because you can create that score to the scenes, man. That's how a lot of it is done. You're not just looking for the perfect song match.
Whereas like we just talked about Set It Off. The importance of that score, where these were all like Billboard topping songs, by performance artists. Whereas this, you get the same level of emotion and intensity for the scenes that are being presented in front of us, but without the words. It's like it's kind of like the Looney Tune effect. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you just kind of get a sense of feeling like your heart starts beating when the music starts playing a little faster or it slows down. You know what I'm saying? You really get that element. And it was what's his name? Alan Silverstreet.
I mean, I think also, man, with all those elements, ultimately, I think the biggest thing here is you've got two of the best that ever did it, man. Women actors, and I love these kind of films, man. It's kind of disappointing you don't see it so often now. With someone like Denzel, you won't see him. I would love to see Denzel, in a whole movie, like toe to toe with like a Will Smith or Morgan, you know, but the nature of filmmaking now, like you can't have two stars together in the same joint, like or that one star has to be the main, and that has to be the.
There's
center.
no 1A and 1B.
So part of the fun of this film for me is watching these two in these scenes and having these exchanges and just acting, and it's believable. This rivalry, even as ridiculous as it is, it's something fun to look at.
Even to your point with Bruce Willis, you know, with him, him still being a marquee actor at this time, he's okay being in the back seat because he knows that he's not the one that's supposed to drive the car. These two women are running parallel, and they are the driving force of what would make this story really, you know, rememberable and impactful. You know, what I mean?
He's the chauffeur. They you know, what I'm saying? They sitting in the back like
100%, bro. And you know, and the cool thing is watching this movie back then, I remember how it hit me, and I just thought it was so cool. Now, you know, just because of all the elements combined, everything that we've discussed, it's just like, yeah, you know what, this ain't one that I'm gonna want to watch 20 times a year, but it's definitely one that, you know, when enough time passes, I'm like, yo, I'm watching Death Becomes Her. Or if I cross paths with someone like, yo, you ain't never seen that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I always check like sometimes weekly with the Voodoo sales, and this joint was $4.99, and I remember I was like, all right, buy that.